The child is pretty much a warning about indulging your patients too much. In one Oregon asylum, there was one particular odd patient and one orderly who was way too friendly. Kevin had been a long-time patient of the asylum ever since his early 40s. He's 65 years old now. Something in his head had just gone wrong, and Kevin had mentally reverted back to being 10 years old. Maybe it was the death of his only son in a car accident, or perhaps when his wife took her own life. Blaming Kevin unfairly for the son's death, it could even be that the driver got off due to a technicality. Something just broke in Kevin, and he was suddenly 10. After the third time, Kevin was caught trying to play with the children in the playgrounds. The courts eventually agreed to have him committed for everyone's safety. Kevin, in his insanity, didn't understand why he could not play but had to listen to the grown-ups. At the mental hospital, it was quickly learned that there were a few rules to interacting with Kevin. Firstly, don't mention Kevin's family. The first time a therapist mentioned them, Kevin acted like he did not understand. Pushing the issue, though, triggered an incident. The therapist was lucky that his fingers were savable, and Kevin was strictly lectured about hurting hurters. Kevin was quoted saying he was being mean-head. Another that was found for Kevin's day-to-day peace was to not expose Kevin to mirrors. The first time Kevin saw his reflection, Kevin oddly went silent. He would just stare at the mirror in confusion, not understanding what he was seeing. That night there was a loud crash, and Kevin was found slicing his face with shards of broken mirror. He was still silent. As he did so, it took 3 people to restrain him from doing further damage to himself. Unfortunately, it was an orderly who discovered Kevin's last rule. The incident in question was figured out via interviews with the orderly's co-workers, the other patients, and Kevin's doctor. One day, Kevin was found sobbing in the corner of the recreation area. Everyone remembering the prior incidents tended to keep Kevin at a distance. The orderly in question, a man who was known to be friendly and caring to all the patients and staff, decided to approach Kevin. He had fiercely remembered the rules on interacting with Kevin and decided to engage, making sure to keep in mind that he was talking to a 10-year-old. So he asked Kevin what was wrong. The mentally ill man had remarked that his birthday was soon and no one would give him anything. Unthinking, the man promised to get Kevin a gift for his 11th birthday, not noticing Kevin go really still. Kevin had responded as if normal and thanked the man getting out of the corner and cheering up distractedly. It was caught all on the mental hospital security cameras that night. That night, the orderly was doing his rounds, preparing at the end of his shift, when he caught something moving out of the corner of his eyes. Turning, he saw something in the distance and decided to follow it. It was a shape moving in the shadow, approaching the recreation area. Keeping track of it, the orderly eventually got to the room and saw that it was someone wrapped in a white sheet. It was softly banging its head into the corner. The dim lighting was enough to see partially through the sheet, showing a thick skeletal body with the bones sharply popping out. Asking who it was, the figure banging its head in the corner turned around to face the orderly. Painted on the sheet in black market was goofy face drawn where the eyes and mouth would be on the head. The orderly recognized the figure, though even hidden by the sheet. It was Kevin, asking him what he was doing. Kevin didn't answer, just looked in orderly's direction. Not fazed, as this wasn't the first time a patient had to be taken back to their room. The orderly asked if Kevin needed help back. "Where is my present?" was what Kevin responded. The orderly smiled, and it wasn't his birthday yet, but Kevin would go back to his room. That day would come sooner. "Where is my present?" Kevin repeated, ignoring the man. The man responded, having taken a glance at Kevin's file earlier, knew his birthday was months away. So the orderly responded that it wasn't Kevin's birthday yet. What was caught on cameras was almost missed. One frame had skipped and the figure in the cloak had gone from still to having attacked the man. They struggled and the orderly was able to toss Kevin off himself, but not without injury. The sheet was painted red, especially around the mouth. The orderly scrambles to escape, keeping a hand on his shoulder where there's a gaping wound. He's seen running down the hall, and unfortunately the hallway camera glitches, because from one frame to the next, the orderly is on the ground again, and the sheet-clad Kevin is pounding his head into the ground over and over again. The orderly is then dragged away on camera to a blind angle, and despite nothing being seen, screams can be heard. The orderly was found the next day, wrapped in a bloody sheet, and Kevin was found playing with the man's eyes, claiming he got the best gift. On review of the incident, it was discovered that day was actually the birthday of Kevin's son, who would have turned 11 had the incident not taken his life. Kevin was put in isolation for a good moment, and the rule to ignore all birthday comments was added to Kevin's file.